Sergey Kovalev's return to the boxing ring was more than just another comeback story. It was a statement. After a 31-month hiatus from the sport and following a devastating knockout loss to Canelo Alvarez in 2019, many questioned whether the former unified light heavyweight world champion still had the hunger, the tools, or the physical ability to compete at a high level. At 39 years old, with a resume filled with wars against elite-level competition and his best years seemingly behind him, Kovalev had plenty of doubters. But on Fight Night at the Forum in Los Angeles during Triller vs. 5, the veteran Russian silenced critics with a composed, clinical, and dominant performance over the previously undefeated Tervel Pulev, marking a successful entry into the cruiserweight division and reminding the boxing world that elite skill, experience, and strategy can still trump youth and pressure. The bout was framed as a crossroads fight, one fighter looking to reignite a once brilliant career, the other hoping to carve his own path toward world title contention. Tervel Pulev, brother of former heavyweight contender Kubrat Pulev, entered the ring with an unblemished record and a strong amateur pedigree, including an Olympic bronze medal. This was easily the biggest stage of his professional career, and he made it clear in the lead-up to the event that a win over a name like Kovalev could propel him into serious title talks in the cruiserweight ranks. But as the opening bell rang, it quickly became apparent that he was facing not a faded legend, but a fully prepared, fully focused Sergey Kovalev who had reinvented himself under the guidance of Hall of Fame trainer Buddy McGirt. From the outset, Kovalev established dominance with his trademark jab, a punch that once helped him conquer the 175-pound division, and which remained razor-sharp even after nearly 3 years away from competition. He controlled the range expertly, using his longer reach and superior timing to keep Pulev at a distance and disrupt his attempts to close the gap. Every time Pulev tried to step in, he was met with a stiff jab or a clean right hand that halted his momentum. Kovalev didn't waste punches. His work was calculated, efficient, and technically sound. Rather than chasing a knockout or engaging in unnecessary exchanges, he stayed disciplined, circling when needed, jabbing constantly, and mixing in body shots that kept Pulev honest. As the rounds progressed, the gap in experience became more and more obvious. Kovalev's ring IQ was on full display. Subtle feints, angle changes, and well-timed counters frustrated Pulev, who began to look increasingly desperate for an opening that never came. At one point during the middle rounds, a cut formed under Pulev's right eye, evidence of the steady punishment he was absorbing round after round. Meanwhile, Kovalev looked relaxed, his movement fluid, and his energy conserved. He seemed comfortable at the cruiserweight limit, no longer depleted by grueling weight cuts that had drained him in the final years of his light heavyweight reign. His timing remained sharp, and his jab continued to land with thudding consistency, setting up crisp right hands that punished Pulev while keeping him from mounting any real offense. What was most impressive about Kovalev's performance wasn't raw power or flashy combinations, it was control. He dictated the entire fight, never allowing Pulev to fight at his preferred pace or distance. Even when Pulev tried to turn up the pressure late in the fight, Kovalev remained calm, slipping punches, using lateral movement, and returning fire with calculated accuracy. The final rounds saw more of the same, a masterclass in jab control, distance management, and defensive responsibility. There were no signs of fatigue, no reckless exchanges, just a veteran fighter executing a game plan to near perfection. When the final bell rang, the result was clear to anyone watching. The judges scored the bout unanimously in Kovalev's favor, with wide margins reflecting his complete control of the contest. With the win, he handed Tervel Pulev the first loss of his professional career and announced his arrival in the cruiserweight division with authority. It wasn't just a win, it was a boxing clinic, a showcase of high-level fundamentals, discipline, and veteran savvy. This performance is significant not only for Kovalev's personal comeback, but also for the state of the cruiserweight division. Often overlooked between the glamour divisions of light heavyweight and heavyweight, cruiserweight now gains a proven, recognizable name in Kovalev, a fighter with global fan appeal, championship pedigree, and a hunger to reclaim relevance. Under Buddy McGirt's tutelage, Kovalev appears refreshed, both mentally and physically, and perhaps more importantly, he seems to have found the balance between aggression and control that eluded him in some of his biggest past fights. Looking ahead, Kovalev's options are intriguing. He could pursue a title shot against one of the current cruiserweight belt holders, or he could take another step up to further test himself at this new weight. Either way, his showing against Pulev proves he's not simply chasing paydays or reliving past glory, he is evolving. At an age when most fighters fade or fall apart under pressure, Sergey "Crusher" Kovalev has reshaped his style, adapted to a higher weight class, and once again made himself a threat in the sport of boxing. Whether or not he becomes a world champion again, one thing is certain: Kovalev